I think, let me say that I think the greatest moment, and it's not been a pleasant one, but was the death of John F. Kennedy. That impacted me, impacted students, the whole world by his death. And we knew we lost a leader at that time, one who had been directing us the right way. And I think it had a strong impact on the nation. Well, I think maybe St. Ignatius would have a head start. I like the question because it does strike my funny bone to think that I'm trying to visualize Joanne and St. Ignatius on the cross together. So if they wouldn't do it, I'll go to the match. It's just fun to be with the people I love and the people I like to work with and the people I've known and even people I haven't known and come up to me and say, well, have a happy birthday, Sister Jean. I think that's pretty nice. And so I did with the Final Four and all the adulation and that. I just said, let's go with the flow. Well, I just use soap and water. Only to keep me good. I don't use any special kinds of beauty additions or anything like that. If my hands are chapped in the winter, I use cream on my hands and my lips the same way, but I don't use anything else. And I have to thank both my mother and dad for that. Goodness, it would take me a long time to say all that. First of all, we just talk about the campus itself. When I first came to Mundelein, and of course we shared a fence between Loyola and Mundelein with a gate on it so that people could go back and forth to campus. And then we even had you won't believe how many buildings we had that were old-fashioned kind of buildings. And we had a Quonset hut, which is a hut that they used during the wartime, where we had classes, and of course no air conditioning in the summer, no heat in the winter, so just a hut. And then we had Wilson Hall, I remember that, and Stabler, and so many. Actually, when Father Garanzini came, he envisioned the campus as being totally different, more like the original planners had it. And he found the original plans, and the buildings like Cuneo Hall, that is built like Cudahy Science and sort of like Dumbach, and that whole part, you can see how the continuity of the brick goes through the campus, and the way the trees are planted, that's the way he wanted them, so that we would have shade as they grew bigger, and they're growing bigger. Academically, we revised the curriculum. We began Arube College. We had more study abroad programs. We've just done so many things. It's great, but we still have a lot to do. Well, I wish that I can walk again. That's my big wish, that I can walk again and get around. Perhaps I won't be as fast as I used to be, but I just want to walk again. That's my big wish. And I have new shoes now from Nike, so I have them on so you can have a picture of that. And they're giving me great support, so I know they're going to help too. I think the things that happen in communications, the most important. When I think of how we got news before, it was always late, so we've come from like an ordinary newspaper where something important happened. A newspaper boy would run up and down the street and say, extra, extra, read all about it, extra, extra. But how we've gone from that to texting to everything else. It's amazing to me. We know things right at the moment now. Before that, sometimes we didn't know for days. I always tell people you need to be the person God wanted you to be. You can admire other people and try to emulate the kind of work they do and everything, but you can't be that person. You have to be yourself. You have to be a happy person, and you have to smile. When I come in the morning, I say hello to everybody. I say good morning, just to not get them to talk, because sometimes they're texting or doing whatever they need to do, and they're not paying any attention to anybody who's coming or going. And so at least when I say good morning, they say good morning, and sometimes they begin to say good morning to each other. Same way when I'm in an elevator, we have people who, never say a word in the elevator. I try to break that ice so that we can get to talk. I think it's very important for us before we go to bed at night is to think of what we've done during the day, like what we call Ignatius's examen, and just go through our day and see what we have done that could have been done better. I'm not saying we failed or made a mistake, but maybe we did, but what we could do better. And then I think we also have to think about all the good things we did. Maybe it's just giving a person a smile, or maybe it's just saying hi, or maybe it's listening to somebody's story. And I think all those things help us and I believe that Ignatius wanted us to think about the good things too, because everybody needs a pat on the back, and that's going to help us. Wake up in the morning, we'll be happy. I made my vows when I was 20 years old, so I went out to teach right away. So I was in that professional life of teaching at 20, and being responsible for a grade of a class like 45 fifth graders, my first experience. And I learned a lot there because there was another fifth grade in the school, and that teacher was older than I, the sister was older than I, and she used to sit down with me every Sunday morning, and we'd plan for the whole week. And at the end of the week, we always gave the same exams to our fifth graders. And then she would know from the results that my children had what I had not emphasized enough for them to know. And so she would tell me what to do. So that was very helpful. And otherwise, professionally, many of the things I did with young boys and girls in elementary school, I do in a different modification of it when I'm talking to university students too. We're all children at heart. Well, I hope that I'm remembered as being a very understanding and generous and a happy person. And I'd like to convey that to young men and women. And happiness, as we mentioned before, is so very important in our lives. And if you're happy, you can just take things as they come and not worry about them too much and help other people to be happy.